Bourbon Barkeep, my name's Curtis, and you have tuned into a House Call Wednesday. House Call Wednesday, we strip away the labels. I don't know age, I don't know proof. We just go in blind and say, what's the better juice? And then sometimes the labels are actually justified for some of the hunting. You could see we have a Glass A, Glass B in front of us. After this sweet intro, we're gonna get to nosing and see what happens. Pretty quick, you're welcome, but it's professional looking, at least I think so. Now, we have the House Call Wednesday, we have a blind review on the way, but first, before we stumble and fall on our face, if you can just like and subscribe, and we're happier, and you keep wondering why Bourbon Barkeep keeps popping up on your suggested videos. Now, let's dive into Glass A. We have our engraved Glencairns. Some of that info for how to get these for free, kind of, on the Patreon is down below, and we'll see what we got now. Let's see. It's super sweet, and I realize, bourbon usually runs sweet. When that's that first instance of, wow, that is sweet, it's cranked up a bit more than usual, if you will. We got maybe like a white grape, maybe a cotton candy, some cherry in there. The cotton candy is tough to get around. I love the smell of cotton candy, don't get me wrong. Love a good cotton candy Jelly Belly. When you're trying to communicate with people what the experience is, and it's just cotton candy, it's not a great look so far, but good thing you subscribed. We'll dive back in. I'll get you something. I think this swirl helped. Sometimes you just gotta wake it up a little bit. Like a nice citrus peel, maybe like an orange peel. I don't want to take you on a sour route, but we'll stick with the sweetness with like that nice orange zest, a little boop in there. I don't think an orange zest makes that noise, but we'll just go with it for now. To kind of stay on this kind of candied sweetness path, if you will. Bubblegum. Just the pink Hubba Bubba bubblegum. And yeah, I wanted to just say Hubba Bubba instead of some of those other ones out there. Bazooka, shout out. That chalky brick mess. All right, let's get this thing on the palate, see what happens. As smooth with very little burn. That's got to be a 90 proofer right there. Honey, vanilla, maybe some cinnamon. It's not there, you got the little tingle on the tongue, and it ain't pepper, I can tell you that. I'm just gonna stick with cinnamon, but boy, is it faint. It just barely tickles the tongue, just a nice feather. I don't know why that would be something people want, but I'm sure there's a website for it. Let's dive into sip 2. Sip 1, sometimes you get the initial experience, but ultimately sip 2, sip 3, that's gonna be, a little more accurate. This is where we're going, so let's see. Sip 2's nice. I feel like I'm giving it a little bit of a hard time. It's smooth. This is something that you could share with literally anybody, depending on the availability, and maybe you wanna hide it. But in terms of your beginner, they're gonna love it. The novice would be maybe a touch bored with it. Sip 2, anything new coming out, maybe like a nice cherry Danish. Store-bought, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Slight oak presence, kind of as it just kind of sits on the tongue just a little bit. Not that the viscosity's there. It's pretty thin, but it's fine. I could see enjoying this, depending on price, just summer. Hey, it's out, sun's out, Glass A's out. Why not? Now, Glass B, let's see what we got. Hopefully it's, and it is, okay. So really, that caramel is very amped up, if you will. This is that fresh, you know, from the actual bakery, I know what I'm doing caramel guy. This is one that I haven't picked up before, but you know when you're making the cookie dough, and before you jump in like a bunch of the chocolate chips, just kind of that fresh sweetness, that fresh cookie unbaked sweetness. It's this, and I really like it. Some oak as it kind of starts to kind of move around, get warmed up a little bit. There's definitely more of an oak presence on glass B. Nice nougat. I'm like just dancing around this chocolate like it's got to be in there between the cookie dough and the nougat, but it's not. Before I get it on the palate, I really like this nose. It does seem still on the lighter side in terms of proof or viscosity that's about to happen, but that cherry kind of pulls forward. Not a lot of other fruit in there, but I really enjoy that cookie dough and that nougat. Maybe we'll get chocolate, you know? Maybe I've already put it in my head. Maybe, we'll see. Interesting. That was a blast of something. Blast of allspice, or what is that? Like a clove or something. Wow, that's weird. Okay. As that allspice or clove starts to kind of evolve, it's this almost like nice, refreshing mint that is coating the mouth. It's not minty spice. Like it's more of like a black pepper spice. This is, the more I'm talking, the more I'm like, this has got to be, there's some rye in here. That's where I'm at now. That explosion of allspice and clove and now this mint is not what I expected from that nose. Not a bad thing. Sometimes you kind of want the curveball just for fun. Why not? But I need to go in for a sip too and see if that happens again. It kind of did happen again, which not two of my favorite, palate tasting notes, but it's nice. I like it. Definitely less traditional. The cherry's gone. It's more like an apricot. Like there's kind of like a tartness with the mint. Tell you what, if you threw this into a blender, I don't think it would taste good, but it is kind of disjointed. There's not a lot of balance to it. It's wild. I don't know what to do with you. I like it, but it's a ride. So I'm gonna revisit both of these so you don't have to see it again. We're gonna come back and score, and hopefully I can get my legs under me because this is, I don't know. Revisit. I don't know. Just wild. One of those times, and I like to do the revisit, and I would encourage you all to not judge right off of that sip two even when you're at home, whether doing this along or just on your own, hopefully not before noon, but no judgment. There's just stuff that continues to kind of come out of these. It evolves in the glass. So as I kind of sat here with glass A, there was like this really nice, like kind of fine leather starting to kind of come out, which is, it just kind of adds a complexity. This is a smoother pour. I think that it comes together more. Am I comparing it against the brother that just has ADHD and is just everywhere? Probably helps. It's smooth. It's just a little boring at the same time, whereas glass B, there was this really nice kind of hot tamale kind of coming out, that candied cinnamon rather than like cinnamon bark or something like a fireball. It's nice, smooth candied cinnamon on the nose that I really enjoyed. Once you start to kind of get used to the kind of blast of this allspice and clove and mint, we said, it's still nice. It's everywhere, but I think there's a place for it when you have a collection going of more than, let's say, 7 bottles. Now we get into the scoring. So senses wise, we got our categories. I do both hands because I never know which one it goes to. So I just have the spirit fingers on both sides. So pure senses, I I don't know anything else outside of the guesses that you hear me ramble through. So if I just went through experience, Glass A, it's just good. It's fine for what it is. Hopefully it's on the cheaper side. I don't think it's 20 by any means, but if you're telling me this is 100, I'm upset at a lot of people. I'm just gonna stick with 69. I think it's close to the good stuff. There's a place for it, but is it something that I want every single day? No. Glass B, I don't think it's light years ahead. The ADHD thing, like it can be fun, especially if you want something different. I think you could pour this in the summer just like Glass A as well. My personal palate, I enjoyed it just ever so slightly more. 71, just barely. Yeah, I'm gonna make it come down to price at this point. So speaking of price, we got the randomizer that brings us into Google Forms. So when you start seeing me look off camera, that's when I start revealing at least the price to start. So, Battle, 53 in the Bourbonbarkeep Lounge. Glass A, $80. Glass B, $50. Okay. Glass A, it's too smooth, it's kind of hurting itself at that point. $80, it's just not, I can't. I don't need the barrel proof every time, but man, I need something a little more going on than what Glass B was kind of giving me here. So I gotta go 45. I don't feel like I got my money's worth. So I think I have to dock it. Now granted, I don't know age. I mean, if this was, I don't think it's 10 years old by any means, but there is kind of a place for some of these prices at that point, even if the taste isn't your personal preference. But at least from what's on the tongue, it ain't $80. Now we said Glass B was 50. Definitely got my money's worth. Not light years ahead from now $80 glass, but it beat it. So it's definitely punching above 50 at that point. This is one thing I don't feel like I've done well on this channel for bang for the buck. Some of these $50 bottles not getting enough credit. So I think between what is in the glass for $50 and what would I pay above it, which would not be outrageous. I don't think it blew me away that much to where I'm out here dropping $80 on it. But for $50 to punch at the $80 level, if you will, I think deserves more credit than what I've been giving it in the past. So I'm gonna go like 77. I think when a bottle can go toe to toe, not knowing age and all that fun stuff, at that cheap of a price point, I think it deserves more credit than what I have been giving it. And regardless, Glass B wins, so hopefully the controversy in the comments is minimal at best. Now, once again, we got our Google Forms. I click a drop down and we find out A and B. Well, this guy finds out, so here we are. Said Battle 53, we have Blanton's and 1792 single barrel off. All right, Blanton's is $80 now. Wow, okay, that's a shame, real shame. Well, we could argue bang for the buck could go up because of the bottle as part of the experience, but it is beautiful. I can't knock it. But in terms of, 1792, that juice it's pretty delightful, even though it's like a damn ping pong ball. Just, wrapping up, this is not meant to talk bad on Blanton's. I know there's Blanton's guys out there. I like it, I enjoy it. When it's in a blind, it typically doesn't do well, but I like it. So, $80 juice? No. Like, subscribe, and let's see what the next House Call Wednesday has next week. So, because you're subscribed, you'll know.